Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. Just thought I'd do a quick video, just come out of the game. Forgive me if this is a bit shaky and a bit dark and the noise isn't great, but thought I'd do a bit of a reaction, post-match reaction to another disappointing result for Manchester United, and we're out of the FA Cup. We're not going to retain our trophy. We're not going to go to a third final in 3 years. And yet again, you're just scratching your head thinking, how's this keep happening? Where are the goals going to come from? Why can't we beat teams that we should be beating? We've beaten Fulham twice this season. I could understand it if this was like, you know, an Arsenal or a City or a Liverpool, but this is Fulham, who are one of the few teams this season Manchester United have managed to do. I think only them and Southampton, the only two teams, I think in the league we've managed to do the double over. I know we've beat Leicester twice, but, well, was it 3 times actually, but I think 2 of them were in the cup. So it's just frustrating, and I thought in the first half we were very poor, but so were Fulham. And then second half, obviously, I can't even remember, was it the end of the first half? Sorry, they got their goal, wasn't it? End of the first half, they got their goal. And he come out of the second half, we're not much better, but start creating a few chances. Bruno gets the goal, and you always thought if something was going to happen, it had to be Bruno Fernandes that was going to make it happen, and he did. He got his goal, and I think he ended up getting player of the match as well. But we just look a bit toothless up front. I'm not surprised Chido Obi got some minutes, and I want to see him get more minutes, to be honest with you. I thought he did okay when he came on. He looked lively, he grew into the game, but the service was poor again. And I do feel for any player in this side who's leading the line or in the attack, because they're not getting the service, especially a young player like that. You want to see him getting on the end of things. You want to see him being able to get on the end of crosses and stuff like that. And it just wasn't really happening. And there's definitely a player there, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of him in a United shirt, and hopefully he can go on and have a long Manchester United career. But it's not Chido Obi that's the issue. It's the players around him, and we shouldn't have took it to penalties. We should have had this game wrapped up well before then. And it's annoying that that's what it's come to. It's come to this thing where the game just sort of fizzled out, and you're sort of waiting for something to happen. And we had 1 or 2 chances, but nothing much. It wasn't like United created loads of chances and we're unlucky not to get a winner. We had a few, but so did Fulham. Fulham had a couple as well. So when you get to penalties, I did fear the worst. I always fear the worst with penalties. Anyone who watches Stretford Paddock knows I don't like penalties. I don't watch penalties. And I didn't watch any of them, although I know obviously that we went out and that Xerxes and Lindelof missed. But like I said earlier, it shouldn't have come to that. And this season is just in danger of just becoming a disaster. Yes, we're sort of safe from relegation, but Jesus wept. Is that what we're aiming for? Just to be safe from relegation? Is that it? It's now all about the Europa League. The Europa League is the only way this season is going to be salvaged. But it shouldn't be. We should be doing better than that. We should be winning more games at Old Trafford. The record at Old Trafford is shocking. Sick of it. We're seeing Bournemouth, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, Fulham all beat us at Old Trafford. This place used to be a fortress. This place was a fortress 2 seasons ago, whenever it was, under Eric Ten Hag, that first season. Well, we beating everyone. We beat the likes of Arsenal, we beat City, we beat Liverpool, we beat Barcelona. And now we can't beat anyone. Not only can't beat them, we're getting beat off them. And you look at it and you think that performance at the Emirates, well, we dug deep with 10 men, we got a result against Arsenal. It's all for nothing. It's all for naught. So I'm just really just deflated. I always try and look for positives in something, in a game. But there isn't many in that. Maybe you could say Chido getting some minutes is a positive. I think there might be something there. Aiden Heaven looked decent as well when he came on. But you're sort of reaching, aren't you, really? There's not much there. And I think it's thrown up more questions than answers. Rasmus Højlund just looks off the pace still. Casemiro, you can't rely on him. And defensively, okay, but still susceptible to conceding from set pieces. Onana did all right, but nothing major, not a massive improvement on what we've seen, where you go, okay, he's back to the player that we hoped he would be. It's just one of those games where, yet again, you're asking, what is this club about? What is this team about? Who in this team is good enough? Like, genuinely, how many of these players are good enough to take Manchester United forward and get us challenging at the top of the table or challenging for the top honours? Not many. I know we're missing key players. I know we're missing Ahmad. I know we're missing Kobe Mainu. I know we're missing Lissandro Martinez. But you've got hundreds of millions of pounds worth of talent on the pitch. Well, supposedly. You've got a strike force in Xerxes and Højlund that cost over 20 million quid? About 110 million quid, sorry. yet they don't like they can score. I thought Xerxes played well, but he don't like he can score. I don't blame players for missing penalties, it happens. But he's not a goal scorer, and that's a problem when you're an attacker. Rasmus Højlund just looks well off it. You shouldn't be bringing on a 17-year-old for Rasmus Højlund, but you're having to because he's just not up to it. You're not. I know it sounds like the most obvious statement anyone has ever made, but you're not going to win football matches if you can't score goals, and Manchester United can't score goals. We can't. Defensively, we're not amazing, but we're not as bad defensively as we are going forward. It's just going forward. We're just lacking ideas. Garnacho, again, he's got some confidence. He runs at players, and he did put in a couple of good balls, to be fair. There was one near the end that was decent. But on the whole, he looks like a shadow of the player we saw when he first burst onto the scene. Why are players going backwards when they come to Manchester United? Why are 20-year-old players not as good as they were when they were 18 at Manchester United? I don't think you can blame the manager. I don't blame Ruben Amorim today. I think he's trying to cook a sort of gourmet meal with a tin of beans and a loaf of bread. It's not easy, is it? What can he do with these players that he's got? And obviously inherited this team. The only players he's brought in are Dorgu, who was suspended today, and Aiden Heaven, who did okay. So we need reinforcements, we need new players, we need that. But we've still got, 4 months left of this season or whatever it is, 3 months left of the season. A bit less actually. And we're running out of things to play for. I don't want to be coming here just to watch Manchester United, see if we can finish 15th or 14th, or maybe we can get to the dizzy heights of like 13th or 12th. I want to see us challenging for trophies. I want to see us winning things. And now that is it. It's literally only the Europa League that we have got left to challenge for. If we don't win the Europa League, or if we don't even beat Sociedad, we're out of the Europa League, and we've got nothing left to play for other than the higher you finish, the more money you get in the Premier League, which, as a fan, come on, you're not really, that's not getting you excited. And as a player, I doubt it's going to get you excited, really. But I think Ruben Amorim's got to be ruthless in the summer. We have to move some of these players on. We have to bring some new players in. We know we've got no money, so it does look like we have to sell to buy. And that might be a bit of a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you, because the amount of players here who just aren't up to it it seems to be growing by the game. It seems to be more names added to that list of players that aren't up to the job after every single game that we play. And there are 1 or 2 that I think have got a bright future at Manchester United. I think Lenny Yoro, I think he did have a bit of a knock, that's why he came off. I think Ugarte is a decent player. Obviously some of the youngsters, we'll have to see how they get on, but there's obviously reason we brought in the likes of Chido Obi and Aiden Heaven, and we know Main, who's a good player. Garnacho, I know he's had a lot of stick, but he's still a good young player. Maybe he's a player that the manager makes a decision on in the summer. We know they've had the difficulties, they've had their issues. Maybe he's one that he does move on. It's because that could bring in some money. He's one of the few players you've got that could bring in a few quid, and then maybe you could reinvest that. I'm not just saying get rid of Garnacho after today's performance. I'm just saying if we are going to bring in some players and we do need to sell to buy, then is he one of the ones that's got to go? Because we have to bring in some players. We are absolutely toothless. This is the most toothless Manchester United side I have ever seen. Even in the dark days of, the dark days of David Moyes or Ralph Rangnick or Louis van Gaal. I know we struggle for goals under Louis van Gaal, and we struggle for goals at times under the likes of Ralph Rangnick and David Moyes, but not to this extent. We look absolutely toothless up front. We look absolutely bereft of ideas, bereft of confidence. We just look like a team that is just relying on little moments, and that's it. There's no cohesion there, there's no teamwork, and there's no belief. And it's sad to see. I never thought I'd say this about Manchester United, but teams love coming to Old Trafford. They must look at it and go, great, we've got United at Old Trafford soon. That's going to be a win. That's going to be us through to the next round of the Cup. That's going to be 3 points. It's just not good enough, man. I'm just sick of moaning about United. I'm sick of being disappointed by United. Well, this is where we're at. So, another disappointing display. We're at the FA Cup. Our trophy that we held has gone. And now it is all eyes on the Europa. We have got to improve against Sociedad, as we're going to end up getting knocked out of the Europa League as well. And then there'll be nothing left to play for. I'll be back outside here with the news in the morning. See you then.